Hello everyone, my name is Will Snyder, and today we're talking about Chapter 9 of An Actor's Work by Stanislavski. This chapter touches on the subject of emotion memory.
Emotion memory? What's that?
Oh, hi Freddie. Yeah, emotion memory. It's when the actor finds a real past experience where they felt a similar emotion to that experience, demanded by the role they are playing. They then borrow those feelings to bring the role to life.
Past experiences?
That's right. Well, they can be happy, or sad, or even in some extreme cases, traumatic.
Oh, you mean like the time Brad Pilkington pulled down your pants in gym class?
What?
In front of everyone? And they all laughed at you. You can hear them, can't you, Will? The laughter.
Can you, Will?
That's right. The chapter starts with an exercise of a madman entering a room, and the students all have to dart around and hide. Now, this is a repeat of performing the exercise at a previous date. However, this time around, the actors know how the exercise is supposed to go, and therefore they do not feel or experience the emotions they did previously of a madman coming into a room. This is what leads us into his discussion of memory of feelings or emotion memory. As Stanislavski explains, 2 travelers were cut off on a cliff by the tide. They escaped, and afterwards recounted their impressions. One of them remembered every single one of his actions. How, where, why he had gone there, where he came down, how he placed his feet, where he jumped. The other remembered almost nothing of all, but only remembered the feelings he lived through. First excitement, then weariness, alarm, hope, doubt, and finally, a state of panic. These feelings had been retained in his emotion memory. But what are some examples of emotion memory, and how do we find them? Well, Stan says that the actor can use visual memory and sensory memory to draw up these emotions. Some examples or prompts might be a soft kitten purring in your lap on a cold, snowy day while drinking a hot cup of coffee. Or hearing your favorite song on the radio, standing in your kitchen, washing dishes while gently rain falls outside. Or Brad fucking Pilkington pulling your shorts down in gym class in 7th grade. Now, these aren't going to be necessarily your lived experiences. At least for some of us. But that's the general idea. Not only what was seen in these memories, but also heard, smelled, and tasted. Stan also discusses how the actor needs to rely on his own personal feelings for all roles, stating, "We must also cherish our store of memories, because the actor brings to the role not the first memories that come to mind, but others that have been carefully chosen and are most dear to him. Memories of feelings he has experienced in his own life, the life of the character he is portraying, fashioned out of material drawn from his emotion memory, is often dearer to him than his own everyday life." Going on to say, whatever dreams you may have, whatever you may have experienced in reality or in your imagination, you are always yourself. Never lose communication with yourself on stage. Act from your own personality as an actor, human being. You can never run away from yourself. If you deny your me, then you cut the ground from under your feet, and that is the most terrible thing that can happen. The moment you lose communication with yourself on stage is the moment when experiencing ends and play acting begins. So, however many performances you give, whoever it is, emotion memory you are portraying, you must use your own feelings, always. Infringement of this law is tantamount to the actor murdering the character he is playing, depriving it of the pulsating, living, human soul which alone gives life to a dead role.
How am I not myself?
Stimuli also plays into this recollection of emotion memory. Stan declares that actors should take into account the lighting, the sound, the decor, and everything around the stage to assist in bringing out these emotions. Strengths of emotion memory are also brought up. Quote, "The strength of emotion memory is of great importance to our work. The stronger, sharper, or more precise it is, the clearer and fuller our ability to experience. A weak emotion memory evokes barely perceptible wraith-like feelings. They aren't suitable for the stage, as they don't catch on. They hardly reach the auditorium." Now, I find this part to be particularly interesting, in that how are we supposed to measure emotions or memory? This quote to me implies that this technique is quantifiable. I can only speak personally, but this statement, for me, begins to show the cracks in the practice of emotion memory. Something I'm going to get into a little later in this video. This chapter wraps up, talking about building up stimuli that you can call upon in performances. But I'm purposefully skipping a lot in this chapter, as it's lots of anecdotes and long-winded explanations. Proofreaders are your friends, Stan. Plus, two other folks need to present today, and I don't want to take up too much time. But he does leave us with this. The actor takes everything he can give to a human being from his real or his imaginary life. But all the impressions, passions, delights, everything others live as themselves are inwardly transformed into material for his creative work. Out of what is personal and transient, he creates a whole world of poetic images, radiant ideas, which will live eternally for all. Poetic. Now, I wouldn't feel right discussing emotion memory without bringing up this guy, Lee Strasberg. Lee loved this idea of emotion memory so much, he developed an entire acting principle behind it, and say it with me, kids, the method. Method acting is still used by top Hollywood actors today, like Meryl Streep, Robert De Niro, and Nicolas Cage. Method acting, though, and its use of emotion memory is not without its critics. I personally studied Stella Adler's book in undergrad, and this is what she had to say. Drawing on the emotions I experienced, for example, when my mother died, to create a role is sick and schizophrenic. If that is acting, I don't want to do it. Personally, I agree with her. Hashtag, hell yeah, still. Yeah. Because that does bring up an elephant in the room. Recalling upon past trauma for the sake of acting and the psychological effects it can have on an actor, which could be a whole video on its own, is downright dangerous. In the chapter I just discussed, Stan talks of a trolley accident that killed someone, and he goes into great detail talking about the gory scene and how he was happy that he was able to recall these memory of feelings so strongly. And that is fucked, man. According to Stella Adler, Stanislavski would go on to retract his teachings on emotion memory and would ultimately abandon it, believing it limited the actor. Now, that's not to say that emotion memory can't be successfully applied to a role, and it can be argued that Strasberg mutated its original intent. So I leave this video posing these questions. What is emotion memory's relevance to our contemporary world of actors preparing for roles? And as teachers, if we choose to bring emotion memory into a classroom, how can we do it in a way that doesn't ask our students to relive past trauma? Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you all have a great day. Except you, Brad. You can get fucked. Say goodbye, Freddy.